Hi, my name is Jake, and I am a bookish drummer. So for this Stephen King video, I will actually be doing a movie review for The Long Walk, which me and my wife Stacy just recently saw this past Friday, and I have some thoughts for y'all. Obviously, this movie was adapted from the Richard Bachman novel The Long Walk, which is a pretty good Bachman novel. Overall, I do really enjoy the Bachman books, except for Rage. That's one of the worst things I've ever read. But The Long Walk, fairly good Bachman book. One of my favorite audiobooks, too, narrated by Kirby Hayborn. I don't know if I've done a dedicated book review. If I have, I'll link it here. If not, I'll have to get around to that eventually. But we're here to talk about the movie, The Long Walk, which for a long time I've been saying that this would make a really good Stephen King movie. And this came out in the late 70s, and I'm always surprised that it never got made until now. Like, it could have been made like when the Hunger Games came out, because this is like screaming dystopian. And again, a lot of people are comparing the movie The Long Walk to things like Hunger Games and Squid Games and a lot of dystopian stuff. But this was written in the 70s, like late 70s, in response to the Vietnam War. In order to have things like Hunger Games and Squid Games, The Long Walk had to come before all of that and inspire it. So yeah, I've got some things to talk about the movie. Overall, I did really enjoy it, but I do have some complaints. It's not a perfect movie by any means, but it is a very good one, and I'll explain my complaints later on in the review. So, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the review. So first of all, how would I rate the movie on a scale of like 1 to 5? Like 1 star being really bad and 5 stars being perfect. Again, this is not a perfect movie, but it's very good. I'm going to settle on 4 stars. And the main reason why it's getting deducted a full star and keeping it from being like a really perfect movie is the ending. I will not spoil the ending for the movie here, but I will say that the ending is a bit different than the ending we get in the original Long Walk novel. And I did not love the way that they ended the movie, which is a bit of a disappointment because everything up until the very end, I was very much enjoying. I guess I should say what the movie is about and what the book is about, and then maybe I'll go into some changes, some pros and cons. So first of all, if you have no idea what The Long Walk even is, again, this is Stephen King writing under the pseudonym Richard Bachman, and this one is a dystopian, and it's all about 100 boys who get picked to enter the Long Walk. And basically, these boys have to keep walking until one is left and the other ones get shot. And there's different rules. If you go under a certain speed, you get warnings. And if you get 3 warnings, you get shot and die. So whoever is the last one standing gets a bunch of money and 1 wish for whatever they want. So pretty gruesome dystopian. And the movie, I will say, is fairly faithful. It does have some changes. Like, one thing is very evident at the front of the movie is that there's 100 boys in the book, and for the movie it's 50. And now I can understand why they do that for budgetary reasons. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I didn't really mind that so much. And the main character we follow in the book and in the movie is a boy named Ray Garrity, who I thought was brilliantly played by this actor. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he did a really good job. And overall, just in the movie, I thought the movie was very well acted by everybody, especially this guy. Whatever his name is, he did a fantastic job. He kind of stole the movie in a lot of ways because I think his performance was excellent. But basically all of the cast was very well done. And as a fun little, not surprise, but as a fun little nugget, Mark Hamill, who you might recognize as Luke Skywalker and the voice of Joker from Batman. Like, he's done obviously a lot of stuff, but he played a pretty good role in this movie. Very good job, very menacing role. But overall, just the movie itself, very well acted. And I will say overall, the movie did a very good job of keeping the vibe and the mood and really the spirit of the novel alive. Like the book is very gruesome, obviously, but it has a lot of lighthearted and touching moments as well. And I think the movie did a very good job of having really intense violence, like not shy at all about showing these boys, shot to death and just gruesome stuff happening to them along this long walk. Like they were not shy about that at all. So the violence was top notch, but also the acting, very funny moments at times, very moments of brevity where you can kind of breathe, but then, juxtaposed with just moments of pure tension and horror. So very well kept the vibe of the book alive, which I was hoping that they would do. I was hoping they wouldn't turn this into like a weird, like young adult version of like, I don't know. I was just hoping it wasn't going to get like, I don't know what the word is, but they kept the spirit of the book alive, which is what I'm trying to say. So I was very glad for that, at least. So overall, my pros for the movie outweighed the cons, and the pros were obviously the acting was top notch, the violence was out of this world, like really great violence, good balance of having like pure terror and really funny moments and very emotional moments. Like there's some scenes in this movie that will probably bring it close to tears if you're a tear jerker. And also kind of my main pro is that for most of the movie, they kept the spirit of the book alive, very reminiscent of how it feels to read the book. But like I mentioned, this is not a perfect movie. I really did not love the ending, and mainly because they changed the ending from the book, which I'll never understand why Hollywood like does things like this, because like you've got a perfectly good source material to draw from, and they did a pretty good job of like faithfully adapting at least the spirit of the novel, but then you get to the end of the movie and they completely change the ending, and the way that it happened I really didn't enjoy. It just came off as kind of weird. I understand why they did it, and I'm not going to spoil it here obviously, but I think it would have been much more interesting to get the original version, or at least if you're going to change it, at least do a better job of it than what happened in the movie, because I really didn't love the ending, which sucks because the whole rest of the movie was just top notch. Like the acting and the violence and just so many great moments. Like leading up to this, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be like a 5-star movie. But then you get to that ending and it's like eating like a really good meal and then like finding a hair in the soup. You're like, oh no, ah, it's just like, it was almost a perfect movie. But yeah, it was really good up until like literally the last like 2 minutes of the movie. I didn't love. Now I know some people might disagree, and if you've seen the movie already, comment down below whether you agree or disagree with my assessment. But that's at least how I feel. It's a 4-star movie, almost perfect except for the very ending. Another minor complaint is that a lot, obviously a lot of this movie is purely dialogue driven because it's literally just these boys walking on this highway the entire movie. Like it's nonstop walking. And so really the story of these boys is what like is the interesting part. So it's a lot of dialogue. So you think if you were like a sound engineer, you would want the audience to be able to hear everything crystal clear, but there's a lot of moments in this movie, like some of it's intentional because some of it's like boys talking on top of each other and it's hard to tell what's talking, but like that's understandable. But there's some moments when like it's just one person talking, but I still can't quite understand what they're saying, either because like of an accent thing or it's because just something with the sound design, like I can't quite tell what they're saying. And that happened several moments in the movie. So not only was it just the bad ending, it was also kind of a weird sound design in a way. Like a lot of the sound design was good. Like when you hear gunshots, like it's freaking loud and it's scary. Like holy crap. But the sound design of like the actual dialogue, not the whole movie, but there's certain spots in it where I'm just like, what did that guy say? Like that sounded important, but I couldn't quite picture out what it was. It might be interesting to watch the movie like at home, like with subtitles to like actually pick up what all they're saying. But like that's a minor complaint of like a couple spots here and there. Can't quite tell what the characters are saying. But really the bigger complaint with me of this movie is the ending. I did not love the ending. They changed it from the book. I thought it would have been more interesting to go with the book ending. And, it is what it is. Hollywood's going to do what they're going to do. Like, whatever. Apparently, the director of the movie, like, sent the script to Stephen King, and they were only going to do the movie if Stephen King gave them their blessing for the ending. And apparently Stephen King liked the ending, so they went with it. But I thought it would have been more interesting to go with the original source material. But I don't know. I'm not a Hollywood director. All right, so that is my movie review for The Long Walk, which I just saw last Friday. Have you guys seen the movie? What did you guys think of it? Do you agree or disagree with my assessment here? Overall, I would give it 4 stars. Not perfect, but I think the pros outweigh the cons, and I think the journey is better than the destination. Like, for the most part, 95% of this movie was fantastic. So I do urge constant readers to go watch the movie for themselves, or for people who love dystopian movies, or if you're a fan of the Hunger Games but want it to be more violent, then yeah, go check out this movie. It's really good. And the pros, again, the acting was great. That's probably the best part of this movie. The actors did a fantastic job. The violence was really cool and blend between the horror and the funny and the emotions and the crying. Just a lot of great stuff all around in this movie. But a couple parts with the dialogue were hard to hear, and the ending I did not love. So it is what it is. Not a perfect movie, but still worth seeing. And if you guys want me to do a review for The Long Walk at some point, the book, I will gladly do that at some point. I'm probably not in the mood to read it right now, but maybe in a couple of months or sometime next year, I'll pick it up and do a book review for it. So let me know about that. Also, just, what are your comments about the movie if you've seen it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you thought it was okay? What did you think? Comment down below and we'll chat about it. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you are subscribed, stay subscribed for more content. I try to post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, especially Friday for Stephen King videos. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do next. Maybe my Christine book review, because I just did my reread for that for the Stephen King book club. Christine was our pick for September, and I just finished my reread, so it's about time I do my book review for Christine. Another very good Stephen King novel, so check that out probably next Friday. I've also got the Boogerstormer Discord down below, where we've got tons of buddy reads and read-alongs, including, like I mentioned, Christine for the Stephen King book club. That was our pick for September. And for next month, for October, it's going to be Revival. So check that out. I've also got my Patreon link down below if you want to go support me there for as little as $1 a month. And my Amazon wishlist if you'd like to buy me a book. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a fantastic day.